Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to Amazed by the Quran, a series in which I like sharing with you things I find amazing about the Quran. And in my capacity as a teacher, and also more than a teacher, as a student, I find inspiration in one of the passages of Surah Al-Kahf, particularly pertaining to the attitude of a student. And that has to do with Musa alayhi salam in his role as a student. And before I talk about him and what really fascinates me about him, I want to share with you certain experiences I've had, anecdotal experiences really, with students that join and study under me. You'll have somebody who says, I want to learn Arabic so badly, I want to study, I'll do anything, I'll make any sacrifice necessary, I just want to be part of this program, I want to join it, right? And then they join. And when they join, they mess up a little bit, right? They don't finish an assignment on time, or they were given instructions and they don't follow these instructions or whatever. And they're super duper apologetic. I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again. I swear, just give me another chance, etc., etc. And then not too much later, they mess up again. And when they mess up again, they're called into the office and what's going on? You said this is not going to happen again. And they say, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. I did make a commitment. If you even expelled me from this program, I will not hold you accountable. I'm the one that's responsible. I'm the one who should have taken responsibility. And all of it is about me. And so you come in not guns blazing, but rather you come in admitting your own guilt and saying, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. Then comes step 3. Step 3 is the same student messes up again, a third time. And of course, they've already said that you're going to get expelled, so they get expelled. But once they get expelled, they, as a matter of fact, say, you know what? They're so harsh. Their policies are so unfair. I did everything. You know how hard I worked to get into this school? You know how much work I put in? And yet they just overlooked all of it, and they didn't want to hear anything. It wasn't even really my fault. It's so unfair what they did to me. That same student who was in the teacher's office, in the dean's office or whatever, begging and pleading and confessing all of it, all of a sudden that same student, when the actual axe is dropped, turns around and becomes the victim and says it wasn't my fault. And this is something I wanted to highlight in the story of Musa alayhi salam. There's this incredible commitment that he wants to learn. He says, "La abrahu hatta ablugha majma' al-bahrayni aw amdiya huqba." I'm going to keep on going until I find the two places where the two oceans meet, or if I have to spend eons, ages and ages and ages looking for this place, I will go, because he's committed to learning. Allah has told him that he has to learn, and this is the only place he's going to find to acquire his education, so he's committed. When he gets there, it's very difficult for him to gain admission, because the teacher that he's about to take on says, "Lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra." You're not going to be able to keep up. You're not going to be able to be patient with me. And he makes a guarantee that inshallah, you'll find me patient, and I'm not going to disobey you. Not too much later, he sees a scene where he ends up in disobedience. He actually couldn't take it when the ship was damaged, and he spoke out, because the instruction was, you're not going to speak out, you're just going to quietly observe. And so when he was criticized for violating the policy to his teacher, he said, وَلَا تُرْهِقْنِي مِنْ أَمْرِي عُسْرًا. Just, can you not make it so hard on me? Just go a little bit easy on me. I completely forgot. Not too much later, there's the incident of a child being killed in front of him, and he can't stand the sight of what just happened, and he speaks out again, which is completely natural, understandable. And yet the teacher tells him, "Alam aqul laka innaka lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra." Didn't I tell you you're not going to be able to be patient? And he says, قَالَ إِن سَأَلْتُكَ عَنْ شَيْءٍ بَعْدَهَا فَلَا تُصَاحِبْنِي. If I was to ask you anything else after this, then don't accompany me. Like, he declared himself, look, I'll deserve being moved away. I'll deserve being expelled if I violate this policy again. And as a matter of fact, the third time around, he did speak out. He couldn't handle injustice happening with this wall that they had to build for not a very hospitable town. And so when he spoke out again, and the axe was dropped, هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِكَ, this is where you and I part ways. This is the partition between you and myself, and I will explain to you what happened. You'll notice that Musa doesn't speak out again. He doesn't complain. He doesn't say, come on, just take it easy. Just give me another chance. There's no pleading or begging. Why? Because he's a man of integrity. The other thing here that I really wanted to highlight, that I find absolutely incredible, is on the one hand, one can have the most incredible resolve to want to learn, like Musa alayhi salam. An incredible commitment to want to learn, to travel in the oceans, to try to find a teacher, And then at the same time that you have that resolve, that desire to get that education, it may be that it's not going to come to fruition. It may be that you don't have the wherewithal to keep up with what you're about to be taught. You just, all those intentions, all the sacrifice, all the journey, all the travel, all of it may not pan out the way you expected it to. And when things don't work out the way we want them to, after putting a lot of effort in ourselves, and that also because of things we've done, we don't like to accept that we're the ones at fault because we invested way too much into it. So we like to blame others. And that's part of the decency of Musa alayhi salam. He realizes that it's actually he's the one himself that's at fault. He's the one who broke the rules. He's the one who didn't keep up with the guidelines that were clearly set out for him. So he does try to negotiate in the beginning, but once he violates it again, he realizes, you know what, it's not fair to my teacher. It's not fair to the institution that I'm learning from, that I'm imposing my personal desire to learn to try to get them to bend their rules. It just isn't fair. So he tells his teacher, you know what, if I break this again, that's just on me, don't accompany me. So he's balancing his passion for learning and his respect for his teacher and the institution from which he's learning at the same time. And this is a healthy attitude every student needs to develop. This doesn't just happen in Islamic learning. It happens in university settings, in school settings. How many times is somebody getting in trouble at school and they turn around and blame the teacher instead, or blame the school instead? Or parents come, yelling and screaming at teachers because they can't handle that their child had to face disciplinary action. So subhanAllah, the attitude of a student as a student, and one that on the one hand balances passion for learning, and on the other hand a respect for the institution and an acknowledgement of one's own shortcoming. This is the healthy way moving forward in one's journey into learning. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.